Hey everybody, welcome back to Bear's Workshop. We are back for the 249th, can't keep track of this, 249th flyover of the Nikola site in Coolidge, Arizona. I want to welcome everybody back, and we've missed you. It's been a while, hasn't it? Okay, maybe just a week, but welcome back everyone. 41 people on, appreciate that. 21 likes. Before we get started, we are going to take a quick look at the stock price and see where that's at, because it's awesome. Now, it's awesome if you want to buy, because I still think Nikola definitely has potential. I know the semi truck came out, the Tesla semi truck came out, and it looks good. I'm not going to say that it isn't. There are some key things that are missing, that the numbers that they have not put out yet. First one is, what is the weight of the semi? Because the weight of the semi is going to tell you what your payload is. So that is very, very important. People have been able to kind of figure out what the size of the battery is, just over 900 kilowatts, which is a very large battery, much bigger than the Nikola battery, the tray battery, and that comes down to what is the price going to be, and it's very important. We know that the prices that were released at 150 and 180 for 300 and 500, there's no way that they're going to be able to keep those prices unless they just sell the truck at a loss, and they will sell some of them at a loss, of course. Margins are not going to be good at the beginning. But eventually they're going to have to raise the price. And when are they going to raise the price? Maybe they'll raise the price for confirmed orders. Maybe not. I think the reservation fee for that is like $25,000. If you're putting $25,000 down, you kind of got to stick to the price. But we also don't know how many reservations they had. So they may or may not stick to the price that they've had out there, but for the reservation holders. But after that, the price is definitely going to be going up. There is no way that they can put this truck out for $150,000 with a 900 kilowatt battery pack. I think we all know that. But I don't have a problem with the Tesla Semi. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a crappy truck. I'm not going to knock it. It's a decent truck. It probably kills the Nikola tray on aerodynamics. There's no question about that. So, but we got to see where the price really is. And then we got to see where the margins are. Because if they bring the price up to $300,000 and the margins still are not good, then we know that they're selling them a loss just to gain the market share and the momentum. And it might be the strategy. Tesla has cash to burn, and they can do that. They can do that a whole lot easier than Nikola can. See, JJ is burning up the comments. Let's see. All right. Just got a lot of stuff in there. Just chit chat. Let's take a quick look at the price, and we'll get onto the video, which you guys are really here for. So Nikola opened up at 245, closed at 241. The high was 246, got down as low as 236, and so it did not hit my buy order of 232. So maybe tomorrow, we'll see what happens. All right, for you Lucid fanboys out there, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Down 4 cents. High is 874, opened at 850, and the low of 829. So quite a bit of fluctuations in the morning for both stocks. And Polestar, don't understand this one. They lost a lot in the last couple weeks. Whoa, look at that. What was this? At the end of the month, they were up at 762, and they have lost quite a bit in just the last 8 days. So, you guys know I'm a Polestar fan. Only have one. I don't have a Nikola tray, so I guess I'm a bigger fan of Polestar. I guess that's what that means. Anyway, so that's a story on the stock. Let's get right into the video and see what's going on there. It's rolling. There we go, with no sound. So that means you guys get to hear me. All right. There's our obvious look back that we always do. See that battery building in the back? Now it's on the right side. That's just where they store the batteries, for those of you that don't know. The batteries have to be stored in a different building than the rest of the factory because of the hazard, the fire hazard that they could contain during construction or assembly. So they are kept separately. Eventually that building will be enlarged to that whole footprint that you see there. That's going to happen in phases over time, just not anytime soon. Big Sham is getting his air touring next week. Well, congratulations. Glad to see that they're shipping cars out. They Lucid probably has 1,400 cars, I'm going to guess, laying around the site. And they also have some available for immediate purchase. If you search up Lucid in inventory, you'll see that there are cars available, not only GTs, but GT performances. So here at the Nikola site, you can see a lot of water. We had a lot of rain over the weekend, or at least a lot of rain for us. So you can see a lot of the areas. Most of the water ended up in the retention basins. That is not a retention basin. That's an area that they were grading recently. Jogel says the market is very bearish right now, waiting for a great announcement regarding the hydrogen hubs that Nikola is planning to build. So briefly, they made it to the second phase of approvals for their hydrogen hub facilities, worth about $1.3 billion of guaranteed government guaranteed money, and that is something that they got to go through the process, but that's going to be a lot of money to help them build out the infrastructure. So let's take a look at this. These are pretty much all new trucks from last week. Didn't see these here unless it was some that were moved around. I have not counted these. There are a lot of trucks here, and there are a lot more trucks around the site. Somebody wants to pause this longer than I'm pausing it and do a quick count, post it up in the chat. Let us know how many are there, and maybe we'll count the other stragglers for you. Just count that one. There's a right there where my arrow is. There's that's a beta FCEV right there. Those two right up here are beta FCEVs. These are all battery, and these appear to all be battery also. I don't see any that looks like a fuel cell except for maybe this one right there. Let's take a quick look. Nope. That's just an illusion. These are all battery electrics. JJ, thank you for the super chat. Hey Bear, what's your opinion on Elon fans asking Bill Gates for an apology for releasing the Semi, and yet Tesla fans never apologized to Nikola? I don't think anything has to do with each other. I don't think Bill Gates needs to apologize, because what does it matter? Who cares? That's where my opinion is. My opinion is who cares? I don't let little things like that bother me. People say stuff all the time. Who cares? That's my philosophy. All right, so we've got that load of trucks down here. We've got 3 over here. We've got 2 over here. We've got another 2 over here. 2 up there. They're all over the place. So William says over 100. Yeah, well, I knew that. Jogel says, I wonder how many of those trucks they need to redo. Why would they need to redo it? All right, here we are focusing on our bearings right where we're at. We're going down a little bit because we had a helicopter come by, and actually this wasn't the helicopter. We're going to get a good view of the inside of phase 2. So here we can see there's all the shiny stuff is water. Because of the rain, there's a lot of water in there. Probably pushed back the concrete uh, because they looked like they were getting ready for more concrete, but a lot of water came through. That was over the weekend, and it still hasn't dried up yet. Debt Prez, over 101. You guys are so helpful. Might as well just count it myself, but I can't count past 10 anyway. We got 10 of these. So you can see the roof is almost done. All the sheet metal is up. Almost all the sheet metal is laid out on the roof, and like we've seen before, the skylights are getting put in. And then after the skylights, they will probably get the AC units up there, the HVAC units, and then start putting down the rubber membrane to top it off. The issue with the battery packs is just that they were costing too much. Uh, that all the design of it costs way too much, and if they've already made the battery packs, they could still go with the ones that they have. That's my understanding of it. So I don't think they'll have to redo anything. It's just that they're spending way too much money to make these battery packs. As we start flying towards the south, looking west on the east side, coming from the north, we can see all the materials that are stacking up on the outside there. There's a lot of trailers with materials and tools in there. You can basically get a good outline or an idea of what the building's going to look like on this side. William says 45 million in inventory. Is that times how many trucks and the cost of them? Because Lucid has about I'm going to say $180 million worth of inventory sitting in the parking lot. Over here, we can see some docks over here. There's more docks over here. This is going to be one of their utility buildings. The other one is up at the north end over here. You can also see that they're going to have the white panels in these little sections right here. I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen. Let's zoom in a little bit. That's the spots for the white panels. Over here are the docks. We've got a couple of ramps right here. That looks like a door big enough for a semi to come out of. Really does. And then more docks over here. So that gives you a better idea of how the construction is shaping up. Debt Prez wants to know if we ever got an answer on why they're grading additional areas of the property. Someone had mentioned that they think it's for an electrical substation. JJ says $1.3 billion coming in from Joe Mama, which also translates, for if you're out of the country, it translates to Joe Biden, because that's part of the infrastructure bill. Now up front, we can see that they've got almost all of the panels up, and it looks like they're going to continue with the random white dots here and here. Can't say I still understand that, but hey, it's not my building to design. They're continuing with the red panels along here, the gray and white. They're going to put the glass facade up there, and it's the buildings, as they continue along over the years, will have the same frontage, and they'll have more of those facades, and it'll look very similar. Now down here, right at the bottom of the screen, you can see all the employee car parking right there. This has been filled up for a while. This has been filled up. There were some supposed layoffs, but this parking lot size did not go down. We still pretty much have the same amount of people, or the same amount of cars. Over here, you can see this is a retention basin. This is where all the water went from over the weekend, which was great because obviously that worked. This would be a big swamp if they actually didn't have that set up. So that was done properly. Thank you, grading company. That guy's looking for a spot. He's not going to find one. Keep driving. We've got a new fence up here. It's a black wrought iron fence with spikes that curve into you if you try and sneak in there. as opposed to the chain link fence that surrounds most of the property. Yeah, I'll just mention that there's more workers parked in the overflow. This is actually, I'm going to call this a super overflow, because this was only created because this parking lot wasn't big enough. So this was created for the additional employees. And now these guys, because you showed up late to work, they got the super overflow and they're in the mud. You know, don't stop at Starbucks next time. Come straight to work and you won't have to park in that crap. Just saying. Gigi wants to know why Nikola management forecasted a year to fab the new battery castings to reduce their cost. Should be able to get castings in a few months, less than 6 months, he believes. JJ says, it's been almost 3 months. Did Michael kill the series? I think they probably went in with a year, just because right now they do not make predictions that they could step on their own. You know what? I think it's more or less they're sandbagging. So when they get it done in 6 months, everyone will be excited. Here's a picture of the wrought iron fence. This is actually kind of decent looking. I kind of wish I had that in my front yard. But that looks pretty good. You can see the claws sticking up, so you don't want to sneak in there. Just go over the chain link if you're going to break in, because that's not the way you want to go. That's going to hurt. We've got tons of materials out here. You can see. We know this is not empty boxes and actual materials, because when they open these boxes, they don't just simply close them back up. These look like they're more empty than this, but these are stacked nice and neat. A couple frames over here. More materials over here. I believe that these might be empty because we've looked at them before. Not 100% sure though. This does not look like, those might be the empty crates that have to be broken down. Oh look, more trucks. There's a truck right there. These trays are literally all over the site. You know what's going to happen with the rain that we had? In a couple of weeks, you're going to come back, you're going to look at this and ask, like, did they do landscaping? Because everything's going to turn green, but it's all going to be weeds. Dead Press says the security guard there doesn't play. Told me it was nice talking to me, but now I have to get the hell out of here. That's funny. And here comes another Nikola tray. He's going out for a test drive. I saw one yesterday on the I-10, riding under its own power, just driving down the I-10 on its way to do some testing. I assume I think he had a trailer on him. I don't remember. I barely got a look at him. I was driving a 32-foot Class C, towing a 30-foot pull behind trailer. I couldn't even take a picture because I had both hands on the wheel and I was pretty terrified. We've got a tent that's going to be raised also in the parking lot. We're not sure what that's for, but there is going to be a Christmas event for employees coming up in I think about 10 days or so. So it could be for that, or it could be for something else. We've seen a lot of these factories will go ahead and put up these tents for storage or for other things that they need when they need space immediately. Tom B asks, is Walmart still testing their trucks? We have not heard anything about the testing and how that has gone. So we're kind of waiting to hear on that. Now over here, we've got those two BEVs over here, or FCVs that we talked about. Got another truck here, two here, another one here, and here, another one right here, and I believe that's another one right there. So they are all over the place. Yeah, JJ is always game for storming Nikola. Tarantula Fingers wants to know if the stream sounds really loud, really quiet. I just moved the microphone. No one else has said anything, but I did move it closer. JJ wants to know if Russell the Muscle ever tell you when the next driving change episode is coming out. I think he only asked that question so that he could highlight the word sell. Now, JJ, we've already gone over why Russell is selling his shares. It was long planned out, and that's all there is to it. He's exercising his options that are at $1 something, and then selling these shares of Nikola to buy other stuff. Now, looking down here, we can see we've got a couple of FCVs, we've got a couple of batteries ones. I'm looking to see if that single axle is still around. The single axle was around on a previous video, which is the European version. But those all seem to be the double axle. That's BEV number 1 right there. And they've been taking these trucks out and testing them. There's going to be one on the test track a little bit later in the video. All right, Tarantula, I recommend you turn up your volume, and that should solve the problem. Master troubleshooter over here. Too much grinding without hearing protection. That's why it's low. Yeah, that can happen. It happens to me when I jam out the music too loud and then turn off the music and realize I can't hear anything anymore. What's Russell buying? Russell is just diversifying his portfolio because every investment that he had, he said, was in Nikola. So he wanted to have other investments. So him and his wife had agreed last year that they were going to sell a certain amount of shares, and he had put in the order, registered with the SEC, and it's one of those things that it happens on a daily basis. So he's just been liquidating his shares, and it's going to stop at the end of the year. Don't know the answer to that question, Olivia. We don't know if Russell is leaving permanently or if he is just taking another position. I believe he's leaving. Mark, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. It's always good to get the support from you guys. Monetary support helps keep the channel going. Now, as we can see, we've got a lot of trucks there. We already looked at that. There's a fuel cell right there next to a battery electric. And as I said before, these 4 are batteries. There's 2 right here. One's battery, one's fuel cell. So they've got quite a few fuel cell trucks there. I think they've been spending time developing the fuel cell vehicles a bit more than I expected, because originally they were going to have, by the way, notice all of these. I don't know for sure, but these look like the mobile charging trailers. And then they have more of the mobile charging trailers out by the test track in a different configuration connected to a gooseneck. Here's our helicopter. We actually got notified by our little device saying there's something coming. So we ducked down. That's why we dropped altitude. But despite that helicopter looking like it's far away, it's not. It's just over in the next field across the street. So whenever we get a warning, we play it safe and we just drop down. There we have more of the mobile charging trailers. These are all brand new trailers from the best we can tell. Gooseneck trailers. And there's 5 of them right here. So we're going to be looking to see if those ship out before the end of the quarter, because they seem to make a decent amount of money on these, or at least bring in a decent amount of money. I don't know how much they're making on those. Boss USA, anyone buying at this level? Yes, I would buy at this level, me personally. Micah's here. Welcome, Micah. Let's see. Breaking news. Oh, he's predicting the future. Nikola Motor will stop truck production before Q2 2023. Hey, Micah, get over it, because you've been saying the same thing over and over, and it's kind of boring. Say something that has relevance. If you don't like the trucks, say what you don't like. All right, so here we got an FCEV going around the track. Micah, people keep asking me to ban you, and I'm not banning you just because I believe in people's right to speech, but you are kind of annoying, uh, kind of like a burning turd. Um, just say something different. Say why you actually think Nikola is going to fail, and have a conversation with people instead of just spamming people. It's really annoying, but I'm not going to ban you just because you're a jackass. Just saying. But hey, have a conversation. Anyway, Olivia says, I hope Trevor goes to jail. Oh, yeah, that is next month. We're going to find out. And maybe we could finally rest that nasty case. But you know he's going to appeal. Debt Prez, thank you for the super chat. Here's to your most profitable live stream. Listen, investors aren't nearly as giving. You should have been around a couple of weeks ago. We did a live stream on payday, and that was really good. You probably were there for that. You probably helped. Couldn't even keep track of all the money that was coming in. It was like raining dollar bills. So you see the fuel cells start off really slow. I was hoping that there was nothing wrong. We were talking about how annoying it must be to have to test a truck at 30 miles per hour over and over. But then he picked up speed, and he's moving around. Nice background right there with all the trays in the back. But he picked up speed. He's hitting it. Those trucks definitely work. There's no hills here, Micah. JJ says, breaking news, Chicken Little continues to say the sky is falling. Hey, remember Chicken Little was right at the end, so be careful there, JJ. All right, we're going to go ahead and rewind that for the people that showed up late. We'll skip some of the recap stuff because, yeah, it's a recap. Who needs a recap of the recap? Tarantula, he is going to be sentenced. Trevor Milton will be sentenced next month in January. Yes, William, like a pebble in your shoe. You know who we're talking about. Let's see. Joshua says, better strategy than Tesla trucks. I can't say because I'm not sure what is going on with the Tesla trucks. As we talked about earlier, the Tesla Semi, I think it's a great vehicle from what we can see, but there's stuff being held back, which is not really like Tesla to do. We need to know what the price is. We need to know what the battery pack size is. Not as important, but we also need to know the maximum payload capacity on a 10,000 pound flatbed trailer. And, we just need to know the weight of the truck, and we can figure out the rest. Because whether you have an enclosed trailer or a flatbed trailer, you will be able to find out what your payload capacity is. Tom V says, Russell filed what is called a 10B-5 in August with SEC, which automatically sells a predetermined amount of shares for a predetermined amount of time, and then it cancels off. Yes, we were talking about that earlier, but that is the technical version of what I spewed out earlier. He can't stop it. It goes to the end of the year. James says, my honesty is what makes this channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Debt Prez, I thought that was a lucid stream. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I have to go back and look, but either one will take it. Because, I don't know. Somebody else remind me. Or somebody else look it up. Who will be more successful in trucks, Nikola or Tesla? Honestly, I'm probably going to say Tesla. They're ramped up. They've got the mass production that they can turn on much quicker than Nikola can. Nikola is still in its infancy. So for the short term, Tesla's going to put out more trucks than Nikola will. I really do believe that. Tesla has the ability to create these mega chargers. Nikola does not. Nikola is working with other manufacturers for charging systems for their customers, where Tesla can step up and say, we'll build it ourselves. So that definitely gives them quite a bit of an advantage. Now, in the long term, Tesla semis, if they're going to be battery powered, they're always going to have the limitations of being battery. They're not going to be able to do long haul. And with a hydrogen refill, once that infrastructure is created, and you have an 800 or 900 mile range truck, you're going to be able to do the long haul. And that's where Nikola can shine in the future. Let's see. Have you checked out Air Products West Coast Green Hydrogen Project at Peters Road, about a mile west of Lucid, 40 to plus 20 acres? How about a drone flight? We could look into that. That's not that far. Hopefully it doesn't classify as infrastructure at all, but I know Air Products, they're not infrastructure related. They create stuff for infrastructure. They may, in case you guys don't know, Air Products is a company that makes and compresses lots of different types of gases. And there's several of those, I don't know if I'd want to call them factories, but refineries or something around Arizona. I'd hate to hold Tesla to Tesla standards, but I quote, one delivery means nothing. Yeah, it's true. You guys want to hate on Tesla, that's fine. I'm not going to hate on them. If it wasn't for them, this factory wouldn't exist, because they were the ones that sparked the electrification of our motor vehicles. And I believe that they're still making a good product that people want. So I think there's room for Nikola, there's room for Tesla. There may not be room for Peterbilt. On fast charging yesterday, we had a graph showing the Peterbilt and I think the Kenworth trucks getting 150 miles of range. They charge at 150 kilowatts or 100 kilowatts. Not great. Very, very short haul. So, and the two at the top of the graph that had the best numbers was Tesla and then Nikola. But Tesla had a lot of asterisks on it because there was a lot of unknowns. Walterman says the Tesla truck is 37,000 pounds without the back cab. I don't know if that is true or not. I've seen nothing official. That's very, very heavy. The Nikola Semi is rumored to be somewhere between 28 and 29,500 pounds. That's an additional 8,000 pounds. That's 4 tons of load you cannot have. Samuel says, what I'm saying, there's plenty of room in the market for Class 8 trucks. There will be plenty of electric semis, just like there's plenty of diesel semis. If the market can support 10, 20 different types of diesels, there's no reason why it can't support 10 different types of electric. DCSR, yeah, I got it right. Buyers of Tesla are going to have issues with megacharger permitting. That is factually correct. There is going to be issues with getting megachargers installed and the power requirements and the demand fees for charging them up. Now, the Tesla semis can charge up on a supercharger. So if they don't want to go with a megacharger, then they can go ahead and just get a supercharger. It might be easier, and in the end, it will be cheaper. It could be cheaper. Ted Prez, that's just funny. I'm not going to, I'll just let everybody read it. Let's see. Have you ever heard of Edison Motors? I have heard of Edison Motors, but I can't for the life of me remember what they are. Olivia wants to know what's going on with the Tesla Roadster. That's been pushed to the back of the line because it's nothing that's going to be mass production. I mean, it will be a mass production vehicle, but not to the point where they're selling thousands of them a week. So they have kind of pushed that to the back burner. Right here, I know I mentioned earlier, there's a tent going up. This is that tent right here, if you guys can see this. I mentioned earlier that It's possible that this could be for a Christmas event that is coming up in about 10 days, or this could be for something else. We will have to wait and see. Alderman says, what is the weight of the FCEV? If you know, I do not know, but my first guess is lighter than the battery electric one. Okay, so Deprez said, unless Tesla's going to populate the map with mega chargers like Elon populated the Earth, the Semi will fall right in line with Nikola's BEV. Yes, Elon Musk does like to create children. Um, the mega chargers, though, another thing about that is since the Cybertrucks are supposedly going to use the same 1,000 volt architecture, you'd be able to charge your Cybertruck at a mega charger if you had access to it, which is kind of cool. The Cybertruck's probably going to have a 200 kilowatt battery somewhere in that range, so being able to charge that faster, because obviously you want to, because it will take some time to charge a battery that large. There's another shot of that. What's going to be that tent. Boss says, appears that Nikola's going to run out of cab soon. Yeah, they could. They've got, what, about 45, 46 right there. If I'm counting right, yeah. I think there's 10 in a row. And then they probably have another 5 or 10 laying around. Yeah, there we go on the left. I'll go with 5. So yeah, they're at about 50. There's 2 more over there. All right, so they got 52-ish. So yeah, maybe we'll see an order of cabs come in soon. We'll have to see if that happens. Edison Motors is an electric scooter and bus company. I think I've heard of the buses because we've talked about that, I think, on fast charging. Debt Press, how many acres of land does Nikola own there in Coolidge? I believe it's around high 400s, I think is the number. A little bit less than a square mile. What is the max weight that a truck with haul allowed on roads? The maximum weight of an electric semi vehicle is 82,000 pounds, or it might be 84. I think they got that bump. And then that's minus the trailer, and then minus the vehicle that's doing the towing. So if you have a trailer that weighs 10,000 pounds and a semi that weighs, let's say, 30,000 pounds, that's 40,000 pounds. So what's left is what you're allowed to tow. William, I don't have any thoughts on Hillian. I started looking at them a while ago and then kind of lost interest in them because I think they've kind of lost interest. There hasn't been much good news out there from them in a while. 114 more Nikola trucks sold than Tesla semis. You know they delivered more than one, JJ. You know that. Are deliveries waiting for the federal rebate? Nikola seems to, for whatever reason, wait till the end of the quarter before they ship out all their trucks. So roughly in the last week of the month, all these trucks that are ready to go will disappear. The test trucks will stay. But we've seen that for the last 2 quarters. I don't see any reason to see that as any different. But I do think that a lot of that is the waiting on selling these trucks is tied into the federal incentives that start January 1st. Wow, that's interesting, Tom. Elon Musk is a hybrid alien and is populating the Earth with children to change the human structure. You know what? It might help. Just saying. It might help. Do we know what the weekly, monthly production rate is for the BEVs and the fuel cell semis? Well, the fuel cell semis, there's no production rate for them because they're building those as needed because they're had plans to build around 30 or so, and in this quarter, and they're building what they need. We haven't looked to see if the hydrogen tanks, which we've got a bad shot of it right here, because that's where they're storing the hydrogen tanks that they're putting into the future FCEVs. So if we got a good look at that, maybe we could figure out how many more they're going to build. The run rate was supposed to be, I think they were at 5 a day, but I don't think they're creating as many as they were originally planning, just because they're working hard on changing that casting. Every truck that they build, they lose money on. There's the fuel cell truck off to its slow start. We know this truck is much faster than that. We've seen this move a lot quicker. So whatever he's doing is intentional. So if somebody wants to be a hater, yeah, go for it, whatever. All right. So we are going to be headed out as soon as this video is replayed for the second time, because we've chatted here a while. We're already 41 minutes into this. I don't know how that happened. You can see some of the drainage that they put in. Thank goodness that's working. This place would have been a swamp. Will they ever build a hydrogen trailer for fueling? That's a good question. I don't think so. I just think that there's a lot involved in something like that. Now, hydrogen can be portable, and the tanks that they do have on site were brought in and are refueled. So something like that can happen. But as far as it, and it was a trailer. These tanks came in, I think, as a trailer. So yeah, it is possible, but it's not. The thing is, they have to be refilled. They can't create the hydrogen right there on the trailer, whereas opposed to for the battery electric, they can create the electricity there. Is it every truck they build they lose money on new machine battery packs? Yeah, the battery packs, apparently there's an issue with the casting and it costs too much, way too much. So they're redesigning it so they can lower the cost some 80 to 85% of the battery pack. And from there, they're going to save a very large sum of money. There are 9 battery packs in each battery electric vehicle. So because of someone at Romeo slipped them a fast one and said that it costs a lot less for them to produce it than it actually did, somebody screwed up on this. I don't know who, and it doesn't matter to me as long as that's taken care of. So once they reduce the cost of building these battery packs, then they can start producing them in more mass quantities. Otherwise, they're just taking a big hit for each one. And that is why they lowered their expectations for the end of this year for their total count of trucks, because just building them just to meet expectations or their guidance would just cost them more money. If the packs were already built, it shouldn't be much of a loss. I don't think that they are. Don't electric trucks already receive incentives for New York and California states, 120 to 130,000. I believe that starts at the beginning of the year also, because I know that there was orders placed in the middle of the year that were not announced because of the California incentives, but they haven't been delivered. Why isn't the Tesla Semi eligible for New York and California incentives? I haven't heard that they're not, but if they're not, it's because they haven't gone through the process yet, and I'm sure that they will. It was a process to get approved. Nikola had to do it. I'm sure Tesla will do the same thing. All right. So guys, I see you guys are still chatting away, but we're gonna get ready to go here. So if you got anything really incredibly exciting to say it right now, because I'm gonna let you guys go here in a moment. I do want to thank all of you for being here. It's been a pleasure. It was fun watching this video several times and talking to you guys. So that being said, I want to thank everyone for being here. And if you got anything else to say it in the chat, and I'll leave it going for a couple minutes. And if you got anything else to say later, just put it in the comments. But thank you everyone for being here.